Here's a story. You start off with your own vending machine business that is actually taking off. Tired of the entrepreneur life, you decide you just want to work a 9 to 5. A friend recommends being a correctional officer for the benefits and the good pay. You quit the vending machines and start working in a prison. But after posting a guy you had been seeing on the outside, a coworker reports it thinking it was a guy you were seeing on the inside. You go from making 6 figures to now being fired and losing it all to an inmate. Trapping Anonymous.
The $1 million question. Did y'all have sex? What's good? My name is Chris Styles. This is Trapping Anonymous, and please subscribe to Trapping Anonymous personal YouTube page. I will be doing follow-ups with all your favorite guests, reaction episodes, and so much more. Subscribe to Trapping Anonymous on YouTube. I'll pin a comment in the comment section so you can watch more Trapping Anonymous and keep up with all your favorite guests. Let's get it. Can you put your phone down, please?
Yeah.
I just wanted to create a content series where I guess I'm a little more chill, a little more lax.
Come on, let's start over.
Start over?
Yeah, so I can be ready.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's like the point of it. I don't want to be so prepared. I want to just give it to them raw.
I'm in pose mode. Let's 1, 2, 3.
Uncut.
Hi, Trapping Anonymous.
What's good? My name is Chris Styles. This is Trapping Anonymous. Welcome back. Shout out to everybody. Help keeping the movement moving. We really do appreciate you. And we are back with another special one. Do please be sure to subscribe to Trapping Anonymous YouTube. Our personal YouTube page is on there. I'll pin a comment from that page. I really would appreciate if you guys go there. I'll be shooting all of my bonus content, all of my bonus episodes from that Trapping Anonymous page. So please subscribe to Trapping Anonymous on YouTube so you can see some never before seen footage, never before seen episodes, behind the scenes, and the trap recap, where we sit down with all of our guests and we have a little bit of an off-the-cuff conversation. Do remember that the stories that you hear reflect real life. They're here to inform, educate, hopefully keep your little homie off the streets. My name is Chris Styles. This is Trapping Anonymous. Let's get it. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay, so I like to start every episode with what's your name, where you from, and why do you think your story is important?
Yeah. All right, so my name is Ivy from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Grew up on the north side. I think my story stands out a little bit because worked in corrections, got a little bit of a background in there. Something happened that changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the viral sensation, Ivy, the woman who lost it all to an inmate, right? At least that's what they say.
That's what they said, Yeah.
Let's jump right into it. Why did you want to become a CEO? How does a girl like yourself become a CEO?
Well, I wanted to go in law enforcement. That didn't really work out. So I had a friend tell me, like, why don't you just become a CO? Like, I don't want to be no CO. Like, do I look like being a CO?
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about all the bad stuff, the criminals, the hours I heard they work. Like, I don't want to go down there. I think I'm too good to be a CO. That's what I was thinking in my head, I don't want to go down there. So that's pretty much how it started, No one really wants to, like a child doesn't grow up and say, hey, I want to become a CO. You just get there somehow.
I mean, a friend introduced you to it, but what was that yes? Why did you say yes? Why did you agree to that?
I would say the money. The money. Man, came with a sacrifice, but the money was good down there.
How much money could you make being a CEO down there?
Well, Allegheny County, they were starting out around, like, when I first started, it changes over time, but when I first started, it was about like 23 an hour. And then I ended with about 27. But top pay is about like 40 an hour. You got to be there about 5 years. But top pay is about 40.
Yeah, I always had this thing of like, COs, great pay, good job, benefits, but you're in jail too. That's the truth.
You are.
You ever had that feeling like I'm sort of locked up in here as well?
I mean, the keys, you hear the keys jingling, walking around, the footsteps, the noise, the radio, your phone constantly ringing. You don't really have time to like take a break. You don't really have time to, just,
Yeah.
it's always tense. That's how I kind of felt. I felt like an inmate. I'm not gonna lie, I just got to go home, but I felt like an inmate.
For sure.
Yeah.
What was your first day like?
My first day, I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, this is it. I'm done with training. I don't got the officer there to help me. I'm by myself. I'm running the block by myself. This is it. My heart's pumping out my chest. I'm on the elevator. They're like a level 4. I looking like, all right, I'm on level 4. Level 4 was most of them was max, but for the most part, medium max inmates. And thinking to myself, like, damn, like this is it. I'm about to walk in here. These people don't know me. I mean, I'm fresh. I'm fresh meat. I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was scared as hell.
Yeah. I can see that. Did you ever felt intimidated by an inmate while you were there? Did inmate ever intimidate you, make you a little uncomfortable?
Some did.
Yeah.
Some. Not all of them, but some of them did.
What was like one of the charges that you read and you was just like, this dude did what?
Pedophiles. Murders. Murder charges. But I would say mostly the pedophiles.
Yeah. I always heard that they're like not sanctioned when it comes to being in jail. But I guess in the inside it might be a little bit different.
They're kind. They're nice. They're sweet. They're like normal people. You would never die. This person's so gentle. You're like, dang, what's up with him? Meanwhile, I look up the charges. He sodomy, molestation. I mean, just the most craziest, gruesome stuff you can think of, like sexually assaulting a child. And I tried not to look at the charges, especially with pedophiles, because I would dig deep. I would like dig deep into the background about how it happened, why it happened, and I would pull up some news articles on it. So, yeah, I would say like the pedophiles really kind of creep me out.
Yeah. What was sort of like your wildest day in there? When you're like, oh, we in jail.
What do you mean?
Like, was there like big fights? Was there like you saw watch somebody get cut? You watched somebody get raped? Like, what was like something that you were in there and it was just like, I can't believe this is happening.
I mean, so let me put it to you like this. Like, what people see on TV, jail is not like that. It's not portrayed to be this place where you going to cell, you getting your manhood taken. Like, I don't know about other jails, what I mean? I'm speaking from my experience.
Talk to me about the homosexuality in there. I know you said it's not like TV, but I can only imagine that, like, the toughest guys that you see probably on the streets are in there maybe shacking up with men.
I mean, okay, so I'll be honest with you. Usually they would keep the homosexuals or the transgenders with each other. Most of the time that will be on PC, protective custody.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So was PC like just like a separate dorm where all of them can go?
PC is mostly where the pedophiles are. Homosexuals, pedophiles, like I said, and trannies, yeah. Yeah.
So there is like a sort of a separation.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, outward appearance, right? You're an attractive lady, nice hair. You know, you got it going for yourself. Does that complicate things in jail? Does that complicate things in prison when guys are just, these guys haven't probably been with a woman in years, or they just super freaked out, or like, you know what I mean? I just wonder, like, did your outward appearance make it difficult for you to navigate in that space?
So, you a female around men that ain't touching no pussy and I don't know how long, or ain't been around the females in how long. When you in jail, when you a female, if you a 5 on the outside of jail, you a 10 in jail. You can be the most ugliest female. Don't matter if you got an ass or not. If you got titties and you're a female, you an automatic 10. You can be fat. You can be ugly. Hey yo, who's that? Hey yo, check it out. You just be thinking like, you serious? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that affected.
Is this a career that you wanted to retire from?
No.
Why not?
I didn't see myself retiring from a place that was affecting my mental health on a daily basis. So no.
How did it affect your mental health?
I told you, like, I felt like I was in jail sometimes, I would just look out the window on my lunch break and just letting life pass me by. Now, keep in mind, it was voluntarily for me to do overtime after a year. My first year, I was mandated. I had to do overtime. It was mandatory. After my first year, I still stayed for overtime because I was used to the checks. I was used to the money, the overtime there. So I would look out the window sometimes, like I said, on my lunch break, and I'm like just letting life pass me by. I'm like, what am I doing out here? Clocking in at 7 o'clock in the morning and getting off at 11 o'clock p.m. at night, doing 16 hours. I said, there's got to be more to life than this. Like,
how much money did you see that first year doing all those hours?
About $100K.
It's crazy, right? For jobs just starting out, you from Pittsburgh, $100K goes a long way. What's sort of like the biggest misconception about being CEO?
You're always judged. A lot of people judge you.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that.
Yeah, when you work inside of a jail, people judge you. Like, why would you want to work down there?
Yeah.
A lot of judgment. I mean, so when I would get off work, on my first year, I switched it up, but sometimes I would take a little quick run to the grocery store and I would have my uniform on. Sometimes I would take my shirt off, sometimes I wouldn't. I just go in there and go to the store. Oh, you work at the jail. Oh, you a CO. Then they like, oh, you know my cousin Pookie, Ray, man. Of course not. Of course not. We ain't gonna do all that. Yeah, he on block such and such. But me, I be playing it. I like, oh yeah, you know what? Sometimes I might be like, depending on what the mood I was in, I might be like, yeah, you know what? I might mess with you. Most of the times, of course not. I don't know what you talking about, I'm in and out.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people think that we're always down there to like have this type of authority over them. They think that COs are bad people. There's actually some good COs that work in jails. We just sort of get a bad reputation.
How'd you lose it all to an inmate?
So first of all, I don't blame nobody else but myself. Let's put that out there. Like, I accept full responsibility for what I did. I don't know. I fell for him. I just fell for him.
I speak to a lot of people, and a lot of comments usually like, oh, when it's a situation like this, a woman risks it all for someone that maybe was a little undeserving, or she just shouldn't have did it. They would always be like, oh, she's insecure. She needs attention. She just wants attention, right? I don't see that with you. I feel like you get attention. I feel like people would naturally try to holler, whatever the case may be. So I always try to look at what would make you do something like this. What would make her sort of risk it for an inmate? What was missing in you? There was something that had to be like needed to be fulfilled in order for you to make such a conscious and risky decision.
I think I became a little complacent. Kind of lost sight on spending so much time down there. I was spending more time with them than I was with my own son. 80 plus hours a week, 16-hour shifts. I mean, I think I became a little complacent. I wouldn't say I was missing anything. You know what I mean?
No, I could understand that.
Yeah. But most people would think, like, damn, she risked it all for this inmate at the jail? Oh, she's insecure. There's gotta be something up with her. She's delusional. There's something going on in her head. She needs to talk to a therapist, all types of stuff.
Yeah, and I really asked that too because I feel like the work boyfriend or the work husband is a real thing, or the work wife. And I think this all has to do with proximity. You are next to this person, always around this person, all the time. Like you said, even sometimes more than your own family. And you put a man and a woman together for long enough, typically something's bound to happen. How big of a role did proximity play into this? The fact that I'm with you all day, every day.
I would think more so of trying to make time go by. Like, I was always laughing with him. We always joking, just we talk about other inmates, like, he like, Miss Moore, well, check this nigga out, you know what I mean? He over there. This, I don't know. It's just, we was always talking about other people, and we found like some type of humor out of that. You know what I mean? Just making it big go by. Cause he be like, hey, damn, Miss Moore, like, I ain't gonna lie, you make my bed go by. You down here, we be cracking up, we having fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a friend who's incarcerated, and he says, I just love going to sleep because every time I wake up, I'm a day closer to freedom. That was so profound to me. Is this somebody you would have talked to on the outside?
Yes.
Why?
Funny.
What was your first conversation like?
First day I had met him, I'll put it like that. He was down there for a few years, but I had my own pod at the time. I was holding my own pod. And he transferred onto my pod when I was off. So usually, cellies, they gotta bunk up. Gotta go in the cell together. He was in the cell by himself for a little bit while I was off work. And I had another guy, a new guy on the block. I need to put him in a cell. So, at Chicago inmate, his cell was open. So I put him in there. He come out like, nah, Miss Moore, we ain't doing that. I said, doing what? He's like, man, I don't do that celly shit. I said, what you mean? This is jail. Nigga, this is jail. You're going to get a celly? I'm not trying to hear all that. He like, man, they trying to say my last celly I had, I whooped his ass or something like that. I beat him up. I said, what you telling me that? You know what I mean? What you telling me that for? Tell him that. That don't got nothing to do with me. And he over there, he mad as hell. Like, he pissed off. Like, I can't stand getting a celly, this and that. I said, I'll see what I can do. See if y'all get along. So he ended up telling me, like, it's all right. It's cool. Dude, cool. I said, well, do you want me to switch a celly out with somebody that you know? He like, no, it's all good. I know him. They was in the feds together or something like that. He's like, I'll work it out. It's all right.
Such an innocent interaction, right? But was this something that clicked in your eyes with that first interaction, or did it more so happen over time?
I would say it happened like over time. Yeah, after like a few weeks or so.
Did you initiate contact with him?
Yes.
I'm guessing that this was at the turning point when you started looking at him as being a little bit more than this inmate that I'm looking after, but now you're looking at it like, I like him. How did you come on to him?
Well, like I said, besides all the laughing and joking we were doing, the first day when I was telling you about him getting a celly, his hair was tied up, his dreads was tied up. He came out his cell, and his dreads. The next day, he came out his cell, and his dreads was like all the way down, like past to his thighs. And like, not gonna lie, he was about like 6'2", 6'3", big, tall, dark skinned dude. Real hefty, big guy. And that's when I started thinking to myself, like, okay, maybe like I shouldn't be on a pod with this dude. You know, I'm starting to find myself attracted to him. Like, real life attracted to him. And every time he would talk, his accent, it would stand out to me. His Chicago accent would stand out to me. When I started talking about him getting off my pod, I told him, I'm like, we call him Chirac. Like, Chirac, you gotta get off this block. Like, I don't think you need to be here while I'm working here because it's starting to become something and I'm starting to fraternize with you.
Okay. Now we get into it.
Yeah.
What was his reaction?
He like, oh, yeah? He like, man, you don't like me like that. I said, yes, I do. I'm about to beam you off my block to another pod. You gotta go. Like, it's starting to get bad. And I told him that. He like, man, just wait till I get out. He like, wait till we hang out outside of here. He like, what? So that's how I started finding myself to be attracted to him.
Did you play any favoritism with him? Would you do things? Would you go above and beyond for him? That things that you wouldn't do normally for anybody else?
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
He was getting food from my house.
He was getting what?
Yeah, he was getting food from my house. Food that I made. Give him some. Soda, Gatorade. Little small petty stuff, you know.
I mean, in jail is huge.
Yeah, in jail is huge, but
Cell phone is $3,000.
oh my God. You kidding me? I already know. I know.
Would you say you fell in love with him?
Yeah. Yes.
Are you still in love with him?
Yes. Yeah.
That's all you've been through? Not that should change, like, your love or your attraction for him. But, you know, sometimes you think that when you realize how far you're willing to go for a person, you try to cut it off.
Yeah.
Like, nah, I'm still here.
Yeah, you know, because I'm like, I'm mad. Yeah, I lost my job and all that. Like, usually I'd be like, man, fuck this nigga. I lost my livelihood. It's fine. But I don't know. I just feel like everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, everything happens for a reason. Like, you know, my video that I posted, you know what I mean? I'm sitting there just talking to my regular Instagram followers that I personally know and went to school with and tell them about it. I didn't expect that at the time to go up to 1.8 million views.
It's a lot.
It blew up on TikTok. Everybody they knew my story. But once I pressed upload, I knew the consequences that was gonna come with it.
Were you always into bad boys?
Yeah. In my lifetime, I've never really dated. Like, I've dated guys that had a background, that had done something before, that were, they were locked up, but they were doing something for themselves now. Like, that's their past. I don't judge them, but now they doing something, they got something going on, whether that be running a business, working. If you got kind of like a story with your background, then yeah, I would say yeah.
What is it about a bad boy that really stands out to you? That you think turns you on? That you think makes you wanna, be with them?
I don't know. It's just that I had dated a civilian. I dated the working man before. I went to work and that. He was just corny. He didn't make me happy. And I'm not knocking the guy. I was dating guys that were civilians, and
They were boring.
they did. They were kind of boring to me. It just that's all they wanted. All they wanted out of life was just, hey, I'm at work and all that. And I don't mind, cause don't get me wrong now, I don't mind a working man. But at the same time, if that's all you want out of life, you just want to work and work for somebody else, and you don't have nothing to show for, you get your money, you get your retirement, you get your pension. What's after that? You retire at 55, half your life's gone, and now you want to live your life. Why not live now? And I always wanted someone that was, I don't know, like for me, I'm gonna be honest, like guys that had that background, they hadn't had that motivation, that hustle to want to do something more. Let's get a business. Cause I've dated men who did time in jail before, okay, had a way big setback, and they're ahead in life more than any other guy that was doing a 9 to 5 and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Had college degrees. And I just felt like, you gotta want something more out of your life. You just can't never settle. That's how I was feeling with the civilian guys I was dating, But like I said, to each his own. I'm not judging nobody for that. That's how I was at one point. Just go to work, retire, and that's it.
Yeah, it just feels like if I was addicted to candy, I wouldn't work at the candy store. You sort of had this thing for bad boys, and then you go work in the prison. It just feels like, maybe that would have been the worst place for you to go.
It was. Because we was joking, me and my buddy, we was joking. Like, man, they like, Abby, why you want to work at the jail? You know everybody down there. You from the city. But a lot of people know people in jail. Especially when you raised in Pittsburgh or you from the city, you know people. You're going to know people down there. That's just the nature of the job. But for me, I knew a lot of people down there.
Yeah, it feels like, you would go out, you would hang out, you knew people in the town, that you could find a man anywhere, realistically. Why jail?
Thought it was interesting. Definitely interesting. Yeah, like you're right. I used to think to myself, you know what I mean? I can get any man I want, you know what I mean? I can talk to anybody I want. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying that as a humble perspective. But maybe I haven't come across that guy yet. I know he's out there.
Yeah.
He's out there, definitely, 100%. But it was frowned upon. I knew I never did it, but I still did. He was just somebody that caught my attention.
Did you ever go home like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is going too far.
Yeah.
I'm bringing them food.
Yes.
And then you get back and you just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
How long were you a CO for?
I was only down there for about a year and like 6 months.
How was the overall experience?
It was a good experience. I love my job. I love being a CEO. It was a good experience. You had good days, you had bad days. It's about how you made your day. That was up to you to determine how your day was going to go.
Do you speak to me a little bit about the double standard, right? Here's a guy that you were interested in as a woman, and he is an inmate, and you come on to him. What if the roles were reversed and a man is working and he's interested in a woman inmate? How do you think that double standard will play out?
You automatically defined as a creep. You'll be a predator. If I was a male CO that came towards or gravitated towards a female inmate, you're automatically looked at as a creep. You know, the double standards is crazy. You're looked at as someone as, you know, oh, what is wrong with you? You need to lose your job. You know, society will cook you. You know, they will cook you for something like that. But me being a female CO, liking a guy inmate, people like, oh yeah, this, you know, I would do it too. I would fall for him too. You know, I would do this. I get it. I see where you're coming from. Dudes DMing me, I don't know, talking about, oh, can you put me in cuffs and stuff like that? You know, can you do this with me? I would love to get to know you. I think if the roles were reversed, we wouldn't even be talking right now. No, of course not. No.
You ever heard of a situation like that?
It happens in jail. Yeah, it does happen in jail. But yeah, before I got there, I heard about the CO that was down there, you know, having sex with the female inmates. You know, we seen that. We were showed that it was on the news. It was a prime example of this is very frowned upon. You know, we're not going to tolerate this zero tolerance policy. You know, so yeah, I was warned about it. You know.
Yeah. What did he do? Did he have sex with the girl?
I don't know. In the article, it said that they had some type of sexual contact or oral sex or something like that. I don't know what it was, but I'll have to go back and read that. But yeah.
Was it consensual?
So in jail, there's no such thing as consensual sex in any prison institution at all.
Break that down for me.
Okay, so if you're a CO and you're having sex with female inmates and the female inmate says, okay, well, you have permission to come in my cell and do whatever you want to do with me. You know, you can come on in there. Come on, let's go. She consents to it, even though she said yeah, and you're okay with going in there, it's still a zero tolerance policy. I believe that's a criminal charge too, as well.
Did people sort of know? Did other people catch on that you guys are kind of like a thing?
Favoritism, yeah. Making him a worker, yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And this was like inmates or co-workers?
Inmates.
So if an inmate is catching on to it, don't you think that a co-worker is catching on to it?
Yeah, of course. There's cameras everywhere.
So you got to a point where you didn't even care that you're being watched this much. Is that safe to say?
Stopped caring after a while.
Word.
I did.
What does that look like?
Looks bad.
But what does you not caring look like? Like what were you doing that proved that you wasn't caring?
Food. I told you, drinks, Gatorade, sodas. Having him out as a worker and he's not even a assigned worker on the pod. This pretty much always having him around at the desk.
So how did you get caught?
So I got his number. He goes and leaves from the county. He's upstate. Got in contact with his people. He calls me. So I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, now I really crossed the line. There's no going back. They have evidence now. Because supposedly, from what I was told, your number gets ran through a database if you work inside any type of prison or institution. They said that they got a notification that my number popped up from someone that was in another facility. They were under the impression that this was someone that I had knew outside of there. And they're like, well, why didn't you report that you knew him so we can separate you guys? I didn't know him. I met him at the jail. So that's initially what I got suspended for. So I was dating a guy on the outside. We broke up. And I had posted a picture to my Facebook story, right? We took a picture together at a hotel. And he did fit the image or the description of a street nigga. You know, he had dreads. He had all these tattoos. Tall as hell.
You got a type.
Yeah. Yeah. So, long story short, I upload the picture to my story. Now, at the time, I had a lot of friends on my Facebook page that were my co-workers at the jail. You get what I mean?
Of course.
So, I come back to work the next day. They're like, Ivy, you know, they said you dating somebody that was a released inmate. He just got out of the county. And you dating him. I said, what? Like, what? I'm like, dude's not even from here. Keep in mind, these dude that was dating, he was from out of town. He was from out of town. He'd never been an inmate at the county. Never even really even been to Pittsburgh, for real. I was seeing him out of town.
Were you dating him?
We was on and off. Yeah, we were on and off, but this was just somebody I was seeing about like once a month.
What made you post that picture?
I was getting like a lot of DMs at the time. People in my business wanted to know if I was single or not. So I just kind of wanted to shut that down. Like, I was dating somebody. Right. Thinking I always got to prove something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So you go to show these people online, like, you know, stop trying to holler at me. Let me post a picture of the dude that I'm seeing. Somebody at the jail sees the picture and it looks like one of the inmates and they report it.
That's supposedly, allegedly.
Allegedly what happened.
That's allegedly what happened.
What happens next?
I told you, one of my coworkers pulled me to the side and gave me a heads up. I explained myself. I'm like, he's not an inmate. He's never been incarcerated at Allegheny County Jail.
He just fits the description.
Pretty much, yeah. He did look like I told you, a thug.
And the other guy that you were seeing in jail just got moved. So they don't know if he got freed or he got moved. They just think that y'all are together in this picture.
So no, this was way before me and him. Yeah, this was way before me and him, the inmate, started to establish some type of fraternization.
So before you even started fraternizing with this guy, this happened?
Yes. Yeah.
And then you started fraternizing with the guy?
Yes. Yeah.
Why didn't you just see that as like a huge warning? Like, oh my God, they're telling me that I'm dating an inmate and I'm clearly not. Why did you then go start dating the inmate?
Well, I didn't think that had anything to do. That was totally separate. This was my personal life. now I get to work. I'm telling Chirac about my personal life, what they've been saying.
It just feels like if somebody accuses me of stealing and I never stole anything, that next month I wouldn't just go stealing.
That's what I did.
Got you.
Lie to you not. I started dating the dude at the jail, like right after me and him was like not messing around. Because he was driving trucks at the time, so I didn't really get to see him. He had like 4 baby moms. I couldn't take him serious. So I'm starting to tell dude about my situation. He started to like, damn, like, man, Miss Moore, you need to leave that nigga alone. Like, you know what I mean? So, I'm not lying. I started dating him right after.
Okay.
It's ironic. It's crazy, right?
It's very
yeah,
ironic.
like it's crazy. But yes.
It's very ironic.
Yes.
Okay. So, at what point do they say you're no longer working for us?
I was on vacation.
Wow.
I'm at home, laying down. They called me up. Hey, Miss Moore, this is such and such at Allegheny County Jail. You know, we have to talk to you regarding a suspension. I knew what they were calling me about. I knew what the suspension was. They said, we'll call you right back. Give us about like 5 minutes. We're going to explain what's going on here. So boom, they called me back in like 5 minutes. And they're like, we have to suspend you for not reporting an inmate that you knew on the pod. So here I am. I'm trying to play it off. Like, what do you mean? You trying to suspend me for somebody I knew on the pod? You know, the only person that was down there that I was related to, I had a family member that was down there, and I reported that work policy, and I was separated from him. But I'm trying to play it off. Like, what do you mean? And this and that. I knew I was caught. Yeah.
So did they end up suspending you? Did they fire you?
Yeah, they suspended me. They said, we'll call you in for a hearing. We got to do an investigation. We'll call you when you're ready. Or we'll call you when we're ready for your hearing. So they called me in for my hearing. That was about like 3 to 4 weeks almost. Without pay. Let me keep that in mind. Suspended without pay. And they called me in to the hearing. You want me to jump straight into the hearing, right? I go to the hearing, and they sit me down, and they were like, we need to do like a little brief, question answer session with you. I'm gonna ask you a brief couple questions, and we're gonna just go from there. So I get in there. I'm with a union rep, of course, and then they tell me, okay, how did you meet this guy? We have you down here that you knew 2 inmates. Initially, I knew 2 inmates. Now, I didn't keep in mind, before I didn't know they were talking about, I had someone down there I had dated back in 2016, right? Stay with me. So I dated somebody back in 2016, and we were dating at the time. I had sent money on his books while he was upstate back in like 2018, 2019. And they're like, well, we got to get you for this too because you didn't report this guy and he was on your pod. And I wasn't trying to report him. I mean, he was on drugs at the time. I didn't want to make it look like I had, I was dating somebody that was on drugs, He was a crackhead. Now, at the time, he wasn't. So they got me for that. And I had no idea they had did an investigation on that as well, if that makes sense. So they're like, okay, well, what about the other guy, referring to Chirac? They like, what about him? Now, in my head, I knew I was going to resign. I knew it was not going to be a good outcome. I knew they were going to terminate me. So I still went in there. I still fought. Tried to go ahead, tell my side of the story, but I don't think it would make a difference to say that I had knew him already.
The $1 million question.
Yes.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Did y'all have sex?
No.
What did y'all do?
we fraternize. Fraternization is talking about personal things, doing favors that I shouldn't be doing, as such as bringing food in for him, drinks, things of that nature.
Drugs?
No, I ain't never bring no drugs in.
Did they say you brought in drugs?
They were accusing me of bringing in drugs way before I was on the pod I was working on. I used to be on a different pod with another group of guys. I was accused of bringing in drugs, and in corrections, deuce, paper, K2 spice, whatever you want to name it, it is a big thing in facilities, in jails. Yeah.
How would a CO bring in drugs?
Smuggle them. Smuggle them. Put it inside your pocket. You had it. You might go ahead and had it in a different, different part of your body. There's ways to bring in drugs.
Y'all never had sex, y'all never did anything.
No. That's what's crazy. A lot of people think we had sex. And I understand. I get it. Because these stories never end too well. You always hear about, you see it on the news all the time. Female getting caught up with a male inmate having sex, or, they got caught. No. First of all, at the facility I was working at, there's cameras everywhere. There's cameras on every corner. There's no cameras in the cell, but there's cameras on the pod. Enough to where you wouldn't get away with anything like that. And if you did go into an unauthorized area with an inmate, you're going to be questioned about it.
So how far did it go between y'all?
Up until he was on my pod, up until...
I guess sort of sexual thing y'all did.
I would see him with his shirt off in the cell. Yeah.
And what is he doing with his shirt off?
Well, when we had to do our rounds, we only walked around every half hour, every 30 minutes. And you couldn't be in the cell like looking directly at the inmates, and if you are talking to somebody at their door, you better be like to the side talking to them so the camera can kind of see what's going on. Like step to the side. You don't want to just veer in there just looking like that. So yeah, he would have his shirt off.
You told me he was jerking off? Said that you was sending him nudes?
I wasn't sending him nudes. What do you mean? No, I wasn't sending him nudes.
Was he jerking off?
I seen it. Yeah, I seen it.
What did your family think about this?
Probably like I let them down. Not only my family, but the friendships I had built with the co-workers I was working with at the time that still support me till this day. Because no one knows what it's like working inside a jail unless you worked inside of a jail. So besides my family, yeah, I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed of what I did. I regret what I did. But I tarnished my badge a little bit for an inmate.
That you still see? Mm-hmm. Do you think there's gonna be a future with you two?
Friendship, maybe. Yeah, maybe a friendship. I don't want to rush anything. I want him to get himself together.
What was he in jail for?
Armed robbery. Robbery.
What was your upbringing like?
As a child, I played a lot of sports. I was sort of like I guess they say tomboy growing up. But I played a lot of sports. I was a good kid. Was I around a lot of gang activity and violence? Yeah, I've seen people get shot. Yeah. Did it affect me? No, because when you grow up in areas like that, you want to just kind of just hold it in. You don't want to go ahead and say nothing because that's retaliation. You just keep it pushing, act like nothing happened.
If you could talk to your younger self that just arrived to the facility and she's speaking to the older you now, what would you say to her?
Don't lose sight of what you're down here to do.
This is Trapping Anonymous. My name is Chris Dowes. Let's get it. That's a wrap.
All right. Dang.